చేశాను. Good afternoon to all. So basically, this session is intended to give an awareness for all the final year students for preparing efficient documentation towards your project work, as well as the presentation for your final viva. So based on that, we are preparing the scientific or professional documentation, which is prepared make use of latex flat. So coming to the content of this presentation is introduction about the latex. So how to prepare a latex document. So what are the requirements for preparing the document or report or the presentations. So everything we ought to discuss in this workshop. So in meanwhile, how to prepare a tables or how to incorporate the various figures, how to incorporate the equations in LaTeX platform. So this is the brief about the content of this presentation. So the text is a type of setting. So what way you're representing for preparing any document for Microsoft in the similar way. So we use the LaTeX format and we prepare the text document in the LaTeX platform. So it takes a plain text file, convert it into a high quality document. So in the preparing of high quality document, so we required as the viewing of your document in the PDF format. So whatever your document is we are preparing in LaTeX format, the final output we get it from the LaTeX is a PDF. So it's a high quality document. So because of that, every journal or conferences is preferred this quality of document. So the LaTeX is a microsystem, so which will be built on the text platform. So aiming to simplify the preparing of documentation as well as the presentations. So here the formatting. So whatever the formatting we have to require for the front page, content page, figuring, table of figurings, table of the nomenclatures, everything. So they have defined a fixed format in LaTeX form. So once you have to freeze that, so we don't need to hurry about as the side or the left justification is this much, right justification is this much of a gap we have to give it, or the line to line gap is we have to maintain this much. So those things is never we have bother about. So we have to bother only the content we have to explain in the readers. So let us, I have to prepare an article. So our main ambition is to prepare an article. That article will give a clear picture for the readers. So in that point of view, we have to concentrate more, not for the formatting, So that is the main feature of the LaTeX. So LaTeX is a text markup language, every popular in academia community for publishing a article, publishing a journal paper, or presenting some good presentations. So why we are using? So the usage is, so always LaTeX will automate the topological errors. Similarly, they document font size, text size, so line heights, other layouts considerations. So all will give as the specific template. So as for the rules prepared by the article or journal publishers. So indexing and footnotes. So everything is possible in LaTeX documentation. The footnotes is possible, table of contents is possible, citations is possible. Suppose in my documentation, I have to cite 10 papers, but in the initial stage, I prepare as the citation for 12 documents. So I remove two of them is not required in my citation. So whenever I remove those two citations, automatically the numbering is changes. The numbering is changes. So based on the citation, the bibliography, the changes is happen in automatic. So whenever you have to prepare your documentation in Word, so you are preparing 10 equation in your documentation. So every equation you're giving as a numbers. Suppose in between one equation you're removing, that number again you have to correct it manually. But in LaTeX, whenever we have to remove one of the equation, the numbering is again as automatically. No need to put the numbering for the every equation by hand. So mathematical formulas can be easily typeset. So academic journals only accept or strongly recommended submissions through LaTeX form platform. So how to install this LaTeX platform? So we have a two platform for installation of the LaTeX. So one is the Windows platform, another is the Mac platform. So in those two platforms, we have the availability of open resources. So one of the open resource for the Windows version is MikTeX and another is the TextShop. So these are the two platforms we are using to freely download the software and we install in our laptops, and in the offline itself, we can execute the files. So in the similar manner, so we go over the cloud platform also. So everyone, I think, aware with that cloud platform of LaTeX implementation will discuss in the day after tomorrow or tomorrow. So that we all call it as the leaf. So overleaf is use it to document your thesis or document your publication paper. So make use of overleaf LaTeX software. So that is the cloud-based software. But for Windows software, most of the times we use MikTeX. So MikTeX is a one. So that is a open source. So we have freely available that. The second is WinEdit. So it is a 30 days of free version. Later we have to purchase that. So the other text editors is also available. So all of the some financial commitments is required for purchasing those platforms. So coming to the latest platform, so how to create a file. So whenever we have to create a new file, so once we are executing that file, so what type of extensions is happen like as a C. So in C also, whenever you're executing, so the executing files is objective file is created in back of the running of the program. In the similar way, in LaTeX platform also, so they have a certain files back of the LaTeX is created. So those files is the auxiliary file, log file, DVI file, .ps, .cls, .sty, .pdf, .bib, .bst. So actual main file is .tex. Text file is the main file. So that is the source file. Whenever you're running that source file with the help of bib file. Bibliography is another file. So that file is also we are creating. So make use of these two files whenever we are executing. So back of that execution is created as the auxiliary files, log files, DVI files, port script files. So like that, the MONI files is happen. Final output we see from the executing file is the PDF file. So the basic structure of the latex is the three main things. So the first is defining of your document is which type. So document is a several types, article type, book type, thesis type. So report writing. So many classes we have. So according to those clauses, so we have to define in curly braces what type of document you're preparing. So here you're looking the so document class. So 12 pt is your font size. The font size is the 12. So the type of class is a article class. So in the similar way, so you have to mention book type. So you have to mention thesis type also. So the document class is a thesis. So you mention in place of article, it is a thesis. So after that, you have to specify the what type of packages is required to run your latex file. So the latex file contains the text along with mathematical equation, text along with figures, text along with citations, text along with multiple figures, text along with multi-columns, multi-row tables. So the text is having the content form. So the table of contents is also required. So whenever we have to refer any page, so the table of content is required for every book or every thesis book. So after that, your main documentation starts. So once you're giving us the various packages needed to execute your latest code, so then you have to begin the documentation. So the documentation is let us you take as a paper. So the documentation begins with title of the paper, then the author names, then abstract, then sections. So introduction is one section. So the next section is the problem or the statements required for your problem or the the equivalent circuit which your model. So that is the one section. So after that results, they finally we represent as the conclusions and references. So the documentation itself in the begin and end in between those two lines only we have to represent everything. So the title, table of contents, author names, references, everything. So the content, whatever you have to require, everything is we write down in the main body itself. That main body is the document. Main body is the document. So always the latex is start with backslash representation. So here also you have to say it. So whenever we represent document class, so before that, what is that? The symbol is a backslash. Similarly, use packages. So it's also backslash. So begin document. So every representation of the line followed with backslash. So these are the different structures we are using for the tips required for latex documentation. So in latex documentation, the tips is required. So those tips is so where you use it as the dollar signs, double dollars, double slash, backslash, single backslash. So here, whenever we ought to start as the commands, so begin documentation is one command. Document class is another command. So use package is one command. So every command is start with backslash. In the similar manner, so whenever we are to give it as a space between the two lines of text, so then you use it as the double backslash. That is nothing but as the go to new line. Go to new line. So the next is the whenever we are to represent the mathematical expression in line with the text. In line with the text. So in that case, the equation is represent between $2. So in between these $2, we write down the equation. So whenever the equation is in line with text, in line with text. So in the similar manner, so suppose certain cases we don't require as the certain portion of lines. So what we do, we delete those lines. But after that, we have to review those lines and we correct it. So like that, we are keep it those lines in the off side. So that offside is nothing but as the hiding of the lines. So the line hiding is happen with the help of percentage. So whenever we have to put before the line percentage, that line is the represent for ignoring. So in the same way, so we use it as the commands. So make use of different commands. So we execute the text file. So this is the basic document structure. So in the basic document structure, the first is represent as the preamble document class. So followed by the packages. After that, in front format, so title and authors, followed by the body of the content. So that content is we represent in the body. So the back of the matter is the bibliography. So the last pages we always represent with the references that we call it as the bibliography. So in the main document class, we have a 5 types of document classes: article, book, beamer, letter, report. So that beamer is nothing but as a platform which we are representing as a presentation. So the beamer is a suitable for presentation. Book is a suitable for book thesis or lecture notes. Article is suitable for scientific articles. So the letter is we are simply as a one page of representation. So report is suitable for thesis or report. So these are the classes we are using to prepare the documentation, scientific documentation or general documentations. So before that, we have to discuss one more thing. So whenever we use this book and report class, so in that case, so the main includes the chapters. So whenever we are preparing as a book or thesis, so we have a chapter wise. So in those cases, we in the main file itself, we have to include the chapters. So every chapter is take it as a one text file and we call it those chapters and run the text file. That main file itself is a representation for the book. So the next is the usage of packages. So every documentation needs some packages. So let us, the first one is a graphics. So when this package is, we are use it in the latest document. So in the LaTeX document, the graphics is, we use it for publishing the figures, publishing the figures. So in the similar way, ESP, so that is another type of extension of figure. So in general, the figures is we are saving it in PNG file or JPEG files. So those two files is not having the high resolutions. So whenever we are to require as the high resolution figures, So certain cases we require the high resolution figures for clarity of the documentation. In such cases, we convert that JPEG or the EMF file. So those files is converted into EPS. So that EPS means encapsulated files. So those files is having the high resolution of pixels. So certain cases we use the package is EPS, TOT, PDF. So similarly, so whenever we have a multiple figures and we represent those figures is side by side, or we represent four figures in the order of ABCD, in the order of ABCD. So those cases we require the sub-figure. So sub-figure package is required and we represent the figures as row-wise side by side or column-wise side by side. So that required as the package sub-figure. So similarly, the comment package is also required. So AMS math. So this package is useful for the mathematical equations. AMS means so American Society. So American Mathematical Society builds this package. Because of that, we call it as the AMS maths package. So make use of this package. We created the equations. Similarly, we use the package AMSSY, that means AMS symbols. So we have a specific symbols in the mathematics. Similarly, we have a scientific symbols. So for those purpose, we require the package of this. So algorithms required certain packages. So flowchart required certain packages. So make use of those packages. We have to build our documentation in LaTeX platform. So in the front matter, what are the things in the LaTeX document? So begin document. So title of the document, author names, so affiliations. So make a title. So whenever we use this line, make a title. So the title will be appear. So everywhere in your template. So similarly, so we begin the abstract and the abstract. In between that, only we write only the text lines of the abstract. So page breaks. So we have a page break. So you mentioned the backslash page break. So in the body of the LaTeX document, so we required as the sections, subsections, table of contents. So bold the lines, or we represent italic sentences. So whatever may be, so you represent. So you're giving as a single space or double space, one half spacing, or centralizing your content. So then you have to use it. The word is begin center. So otherwise we write down as the justifying. So this is some example for representing the single column article. So what is the first line? Document class. So in that document class, we are specifying as the what font we are using to document your prepared one. So that is you take it as everything is we represent as the 12, we represent as the 12 is the font size. So inside the content, everything is 12. So the next is we represent as it's what type of it is. It's a single column. This is the one type we are representing. So next we represent title. So the title is always specified in a font size. That font size is specified either 14 or 16. So all will be in a uppercase. So my first article in. So that is the title we are representing in LaTeX. So that is. So the next we have to represent authors. So author name and addresses is we have to specify in \author. So that is the keyword we are using to represent the author names. So the next is we have to begin the document. So whenever we have to begin the document, the first representation is a make title. So the title is printed here. So the document itself, we are calling the title of the space and author notations, everything. So the next is we have to begin the abstract. So begin the abstract, then we have to start the sessions. Introduction is the first session. So that introduction we have to get as the 1.1 or 1 point. Subsection will give 1.1. The main section will give 1 point. So again, the subsection will have subsection. So we represent 1.1.1. So no need to give as the numbering. That command itself will give the numbers. So the sequence of numbering is, we never give it in the latex document. That numbering is get it automatically. So like that we are representing. So once your documentation is completed, then only we have to close the document, end document. So begin document, end document lines is required for documentation. So any type of documentation, we require the begin document as well as the end document. So this is the LaTeX code. This is the output from this LaTeX code in the form of PDF. So this is another example. So this here you have to observe as the 2 column, 12 PT, comma 2 column. If we are not specifying anything, so it's take it as a single column documentation. So whenever you have to specify 2 columns, so then your document is split into 2 columns. This is 1 column, this is another column. So always the general purpose is in a 2 column format, 2 column format. So in such cases, we represent the document classes A4 paper, font is 12, it is 2 column format. So in the same way, if it is a book format, so you represent in curly braces, it is a book type. The class is a book type. So coming to the font sizes, we represent for LaTeX code is the availability of font sizes is this. So tiny means very, very small. So the next is the script size. Script size. So next one is the footnote size. Footnote size. The next is the small. Next is normal size, large, capital L. So this is the next level of size. All are in capital letters. It's large. Q's. So in lowercase, we have one height of font size. So H is capital, you get another size of documentation. So these are the different font sizes is available. So whenever we have to required as the font size, so before the text, so you add it this simply. So backslash use, we write down as the whatever the text we need it in the bolded or highlighted manner of the font size. So coming to the mathematical equations reported in the LaTeX document. So we represent as the scientific documents always contains the mathematical equations. So those mathematical equations require the package. So what type of package we have to require for the mathematics? So we already discussed that. So AMS math is required for whenever we represent as a mathematical equations. So those mathematical equation will have a different environments again. So those environmental is the array equation. So like that we represent as the mathematical equations. So equation array equation. So like that, we represent as the mathematical equation. So certain cases, we derive the derivation of part of the certain algorithms. So those derivations, every line need not be a numbering. So those cases, we write on end of the equation, no numbering, no number. So that means the number is not printed because the LaTeX is given as the numbers automatically. So whenever you write down as an equation, that line is ends, automatically it gives as a number. So this text document, whenever we are preparing in line with the text, we use the dollar symbols for preparing the mathematical equations. So let us, we take, this is the case. So what is the text formula or displayed in line? So that is A plus B equal to C. A plus B equal to C. So what we are doing? So that A plus B equal to C is we represent in between single dollars. In between single dollars. So whenever we require as an example of equation A plus A equal to 2A. So those cases, so we use in between two double dollars. So that in between double dollar is represent as a display of equation. It's not in line with the text. So in line with the text, we use the single dollars. So whenever we require as a separate line for equation, so we use it as the double dollars. So in equation mode, so we always in the documentation, we begin the equation. So this is the command we are using to begin the equation, backslash begin. So inside the curly braces, we write on as the equation. So in that notation only, we get as the numbers. So in the previous line, so what we are observing, so there is no numbers. A plus A equal to 2A. So the right side of that equation didn't see any number. But whenever we are to represent as the equation in a equation board representation of the documentation, so then you get as the equation by default. So in the equation command, math commands or equation commands, we required certain notations. So whenever we are to use the subscript, underscore is used. So whenever we are to require the superscript, the cap symbol is required. So those symbols is we are using to find. Similarly, so whenever we required as the square root, so we write down backslash SQRT. So when we are to required as the A by B form, so that is the backslash fraction. So we have to label the equation. So the labeling of the equation is given as the backslash label EQ1. So whenever you're calling that, suppose the following equation, elaborate the transient response of a RL series circuit. The following equation, so equation numbering is there, then the following equation 3 elaborates the transient response of the RLC series circuit. So in that case, what we do, the same label we call there. So backslash label equation. So here we are giving as a backslash label EQ1. So there we are to backslash REF, refer. In braces, you write on as equation EQ1. So whenever we are referring that EQ1, so whatever number will have EQ1, the same number is reflected in the text document. So these are the different mathematical commands. In general, we are use it. So one is the begin gather, begin equation array, begin align star, begin equation star. So when we use the array, when we use the equation star, align. So which cases we are using those things. So with the example we are seeing here. So begin gather. So here we have a set of equations. So the linear equations is set of three linear equations is solving with some algorithms. So those three set of equations is we write down in the line by line. So those cases we represent as a begin gather, begin gather. So the numbers is automatically we get it according to the session. Suppose we represent this is in eighth session. So because of that, the equation numbers is follows on 8.2, 8.3, 8.4. So in the similar manner, we represent as the in the array form. So in the array form also we have to represent. So in the array form, whenever we don't need for the numbering for the equations, so we write down as no number, backslash, no number. So everywhere you observe double backslash lines. So what it indicates? It indicates the new line printing. So the first line is printed. After that, the second equation is coming to the new line. Similarly, the third equation is coming to the new line. If this symbols is not given, the double backslash is not representing, then the equations is represented side by side. So align star. So align is give it as the numbering for the equations. Align star doesn't give any numbering. So in the equations, so we have to put it as the bunch of equations as a single equation. We use this. So that ampersand itself is represent as the tabbing of values. So every tab will represent as a 1. So in the similar manner, tabulation of the contents as well as the tabulation of the our document required for the results. So in the results representation, most of the cases we represent in the table form. Table form. So the table is a multiple rows, multiple columns. Multiple rows and multiple columns. So those cases, so in this we have a table as well as the tabular. These are the two formats we are using to tabulate the values. So in the table creation for the report documentation, we always use the command line is \begin table. So whenever we have a multi-columns, multi-rows, then we split the columns. So that means we have 5 columns and 2 rows. So those rows and columns is we are not matching. So we represent as usual for number of columns as well as the number of rows. So in the columns is always separated with the lines we represent here. So this is representing for column separation. So every row is, we are separated with a horizontal line. So the horizontal line is we have to draw to separate the rows. The vertical line is draw to separate the columns. So in that separation, the column content. So how to align the column contents? So that information is given according to the letters we have to specify in between the lines. So that is L is automatically adjust the size to the left side. So automatically adjust to the left side. R is represent in between these two lines, automatically adjust to the right side. C represent for the center, and P means you have to set the size. So what size we are setting? So that size we have to represent here. So based on that, the column text is aligned. The text is aligned left side, right side, centrally, or your text side is specified for 4.5 centimeters or 5 centimeters. That provision is also happen if you are representing that is a P. So this is the creation of the table for the main skeleton. So this is a complete representation of the table in a document. So once we know the document class, so in the document class, we are preparing a table. So the command line required for preparing table is the \begin table. So after that, we have another letter inside the square braces, that is H. So we have again discussing why we are representing this H inside the square braces. So what is the requirement of that? So let us first we discuss the how to create a table in LaTeX form. So that is the command we use as a begin table. So the next whatever the content we write on inside the table, we required as a the command line is begin table. So the table is center to your document is required. Then you write on as the command line is \centering. So how many columns is we have created here? 1, 2, 3, 4. So the column to column is we are not separated with line. So we have simply created the columns. So that's why we didn't draw any line in between the C to C. So we simply represent as the columns. The column values is represent as a center for the column. Center for the columns. So what we are representing in the first line of row, we represent as the coil 1, coil 2, coil 3, coil 4. So that is, we simply represent as a column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. So after that, we represent as the double backslash and 0.5 EX. 0.5 EX is the we are specified. So that means we take as a the space is we are considering for lettering of this is 0.5. So we draw the horizontal line. So this is the heading of the lines. Because of that, we draw the horizontal lines. So after that, we represent as the values corresponding to the table. So the values corresponding to the table, the first element of the row never required any separation. So that separation is exactly aligned with the second parameter, then you required as the ampersand. So the first element doesn't require any ampersand before that value, but the second element onwards, we require the ampersand. So that make use of this ampersand only one, the row of one column to another column is moving the values. So the horizontal line is represent as the end of this. Otherwise, every end of row we represent the horizontal line. We get as the line separation between the one row to another row. So whenever we are to end the tabular, so end the tabular. So we required as the caption for the table also, table to test the captions and labels. So whenever we are giving as a labeling, so wherever you have to refer that labeling, so you get as the number automatically. So here we draw the column lines as well as the horizontal lines. So what way we represent as the column lines? So the first column is the left justified, second column is centered, and third column is right justified. So that letters L, C, or indicates the justification of the content, justification of the content inside the table. So based on that, we are preparing the table of values, the tables in the LaTeX document. So earlier we discussed this. So why we are representing H here? So those letters indicates the position of the table. So in our documentation, so according to the your text, everything, we are adjusting your table at the top of the text or bottom of the text or at the fixed position or floating. So whatever may be as per your interest of the your documentation, we are to positioning the table. So the table positioning is changes according to the letter we give it inside the square braces. If your specified H, the table will be placed here approximately. So whatever the content you are representing, so that referring of the table below that only we have to fix the table location. If you are representing T, table is placed at the top of the page. If you represent B, it is bottom of the page. P means specific page for the table. So H, capital H represent the place the table at the precise location. So as for the text, they have to adjust and locate as a precise location. So similarly, the centering of the table already we are discussing. We use the command line is \centering. So coming to the multi-column documentation. So whenever we have to require the multi-column documentation. So in that case, we require the package multi-columns, multi-rows. So we require the package, use package is multi-column, multi-rows. So when we require the multi-column, multi-rows, so when we are use it to merge the certain columns or certain rows. So in that case, only we require the use package is multi-rows, multi-column. Okay. This multi-row, multi-column means you're merging some of the column values. You're merging some of the row values. So those case only we require this. So first we have to specify the dimension of columns and rows. After that, which rows is we are merging. So which columns is we are merging. So that we have to specify. So based on that specification only, we have to get it this. So multi-row 2. So we are representing merging of 2 rows. So that's why we are using multi-row 2. So after that, we are not specifying. So the dimension width is not specifying. So that is the dimension. Next, we specify the name. So that name, whatever the title of that merged row. So the title is we are giving here itself. So similarly, in the multi-column line, also we represent the multi-columns. So how many columns is we are merging? 1, 2, 3, 4. So because of that, we are specifying 4. So 4 columns is merging. So after that, we are giving as the MET, or then you have to specify as it's a center location or left justification or right justification, whatever may be. So that we have to specify. Then you give as the name of the content of that merged cell. Okay. So like that, we are specifying the merged rows and merged column tables. So coming to the graphics. So the LaTeX is given as a high quality figures. High quality figures. So to include the figures in LaTeX, we require the command line is include graphics. Include graphics. So always this include graphics line is we represent in between the begin and end figure. So we lines of the figure also we have to begin and end that figure. So that begin and figure will require the command line to display the figure is include graphics. Include graphics. So whatever the figure we are having, that figure is always we save it in the same folder of your text file. Same folder of your text file. So then only it reads the file. Otherwise, you have to give in as the include graphic. The path is also you have to mention from where, which path you have to pick up that file. Okay. So the graphics is a use package. We use it to represent figures in LaTeX document. So this is a simple code. So they take it as a atoms figure. From this atom figure, we represent in LaTeX code requires the use package graphics. So in the documentation, we require the begin graphics. We have to hold at the same point. So wherever you have to represent as your documentation. So we represent in this session. So that session itself, we have to represent this figure. So that's why they represent as the in square braces capital H. So the next is the centering of this figure. So we use the command line is \centering. So include graphics. So how much scale we are representing that figure. Suppose one is the complete scaling for the pace. Complete scaling for the pace. So in terms of the percentage value, we represent as the scaling value. So the complete scaling or resolution of this figure, based on that, we are giving as the scaling of the system. So this is in the PNG form, JPEG form, or EPS form. So whatever the form, but we never combining the JPEG file with EPS format file, PNG file with JPEG file. So in multi-graphs representation, we didn't combine those files. So this is the files we represent for the multi figures represent in the one square box. One square box. So this is figure A, figure B, figure C. So all three figures represent in one title. One title. So in such cases, we represent as the include graph is a command line, but we represent in that portion, we represent subgraphs. So we use the package subgraph. So use that command line. So inside that subgraph or subfigure command line, we represent include graphics. Include graphics. So coming to the citation, so that is the foot of the your documentation. So it is a citation references. So citation references. So in citation references, we require the BibTeX file. BibTeX file. So in LaTeX, we require always a BibTeX file. Make use of that BibTeX file only. The citations is pure number. Or in the reference itself, it's generating the BibTeX file. From BibTeX file itself, it's generate the reference file. So always we cite like this for the citation of the figure, citation of the your papers or citation of the references. So the command line we use for the citation is \cite. But before that citation, so we have to generate this BibTeX file. Generate the BibTeX file. So if it is an article, so we generate like this. If it is a book, we generate like this. So everything we are generating, make use of author, title, year, journal, volume, number, pages. So according to the paper information, we can write this or we can easily find out this information from the Google Scholar. So you go for the Google Scholar and represent whatever the paper you're citing. So go there and we represent that paper is cited in Google Scholar. So you click in cite. So that site itself will give the different forms of formats. So in that format, you pick up the BibTeX. So end of this session, I will show how to pick up the BibTeX from the Google Scholar. So the last one is the preparing of slides. So in book till before slide, we are discussing the how to prepare a documentation. So now we going for this slide presentation. So whenever you have to present any document, so that presentation form, you know only the PowerPoint. So in the similar manner, we can present the your whatever presentation in LaTeX also. So in LaTeX, so we have a Beamer is a well-known. So that Beamer will have a standard document like Microsoft PowerPoint. So in Microsoft PowerPoint, we have a template. So in the same manner, so we have a Beamer templates. Beamer templates. So make use of those templates. We have to prepare the header line, footer, sidebars, navigation bars, navigation symbols, logos, frame title, background, frame content. So everything. So like as a PPT, so I'm preparing the header and footer. So header in the bar, it shows the, so whatever the content I'm delivering related to that. So bottom of the line, it's a footer. So footer, what we are identifying here. So your organization name, your name, date. So in which slide you'll be. So everything is given because those templates itself will have the formatting. So no need to worry for the formatting. So you simply write down your relevant content in the document, text document. So in the site preparations, the major thing we have to require is listing and frames. సో ఇక్కడ ఒక స్లైడ్ నుంచి ఇంకొక స్లైడ్ కి మూవ్ అవుతున్నాము. సో దాన్ని లేటెక్ లో వి కాల్ ఇట్ యాజ్ ఎ ఫ్రేమ్. So that's why we use the command line for the frame is the representation of the presentation. \begin frame. So frame is a one slide plate. One slide plate. So once you have to take as a frame. So in that frame, so you observe that this is the frame. ఇక్కడ మళ్ళీ ఇంకో కలర్ తోటి కనిపిస్తుంది. So that we all call it as the block. So I'm specifying my presentation in within that block only. So that's why I take as the begin block. So begin frame, this is the frame. So in that frame, so I created a block. So in that block, I'm writing some text. So I write some text within this block. So similarly, we prepare a content for the list. So the first list is, so suppose I'm classifying the different methods we use it to solve the differential equations. So what is the first method? Direct integration. Direct integration. The second method is separation technique. So separate the terms and integrate. So that is the second method. So the third method is general classification method. So those three lines is I'm highlighting with bullets or numbers. Bullets or numbers. So when we all use it as a bullets, when you all use it as a numbers, so that information is identified, make use of these command lines. So begin numbers. So enumerate, that itself is give it as a numerical value. So that numerical value is represent here. Suppose, so I'm begin itemize. If it is itemized, so what it is given? It is given in the form of bullets. So these are the two commands we are use it to give as a the classification or listing of any values with the help of numbers or bullets. Numbers or bullets. So make use of itemize. We can give it as the numbers as well as the bullets. But with the help of enumerate, it gives only the numbers. Also gives the numbers. So these are the two command lines we are using to prepare your presentation for listing the lines. Listing the lines. So these are the latex files. So we are use it to generate the graphs. So these are the sources we have to generate the graphs. Suppose I have a plot. That plot will require the high quality of resolution. High quality of resolution. So how to change my graph quality? So take the print PDF, whatever graph you have in Microsoft Excel or PowerPoint. So print PDF. That PDF document is you have to import in Inkspace. So that Inkspace is the one of the platform. So in that Inkspace, you import that file of PDF and save that file as a EPS with 900 dpi. 900 dpi. So save as EPS file with 900 dpi. So then your figure is encapsulated. So that encapsulated file is directly used in LaTeX. So whenever the reviewer is looking your document and seeing the results of the figure with 200%. For clarity, they look in 200% of your PDF. So in that case, there is no corruption of the figure. So whatever the resolution you have in 100%, the same resolution is you get it in the 200% also. But in some JPEG files or PNG files, whenever you go for the 200%, so how that figure is looks, it's blur. But in EPS format, whenever you're uploading your figure, so you never get in a blur format. So that's why most of the researchers use this Inkspace platform. So make use of this Inkspace platform. They convert their JPEG figure or whatever figure into a EPS format. So in the similar manner, the MATLAB itself will give or generate the EPS file. Your MATLAB platform itself will give the EPS file. So in the similar manner, so we have the another platform. That platform is Visio. So in Microsoft Visio also, you draw the circuits. So whatever the circuits we have, so all the circuits we can draw with the help of Visio platform. So in that platform, we draw our electrical circuits. That circuit is, you take it as a EMF format. So after that, make use of open sources. You convert that EMF figure into a EPS figure. So many open source platforms is there to convert that EMF file into EMF file into EPS formats. So these are the templates available through web. So these are the different. So we already discussed Overleaf is one of the cloud platform. So in the online itself, we can do it as the LaTeX documentation. So the next one is the Beamer. Beamer is a template. The template is we are use it for preparing the presentations. So these are the templates we have for IEEE transactions. Similarly, we have different sources of PhD thesis templates from IITs, GitHub, so many sources we have. So from those sources, we can download the templates and we can prepare the document. So, but in our institute, so the template is given from the department. So through the template only, you have to prepare your thesis documentation. Okay. So this is another platform. నాకు ఆ సింబల్స్ అన్ని గుర్తులేవు, ఏ సింబల్ ఎట్లా రాయాలో తెలీదు. ఈ డాక్యుమెంటేషనే కొత్త, ఎట్లా ప్రిపేర్ చేయాలి అని చాలా మంది టెన్షన్ పడవచ్చు. సో ఇట్లే వెరీ మినిమల్ ఎఫర్ట్ యూ కెన్ ప్రిపేర్ ఎనీ ఈక్వేషన్. మీ చేత్తో రాసిన దాన్నైనా కూడా. సో యూ కెన్ టేక్ యాజ్ ఏ స్నాప్షాట్ and that snapshot is you have to put in MikTeX platform. So this is a math pick. So this platform itself convert your image into a LaTeX document. So suppose I take this. So make use of this. I select this document. So it's prepares a LaTeX code. So copy that code and you paste it. So that LaTeX code itself, it's generate. So this code is represent as your Word code. So this is directly you have to copy and paste it in your Word document. So down of this, you copy this, that is corresponding to the LaTeX code. So this is another open source. We use it to convert your whatever mathematical equation into a LaTeX format. LaTeX format. So మనము స్క్రిప్ట్ టూల్ ఎట్లా అయితే యూజ్ చేస్తామో అదే విధంగా ఈ మెక్టెక్ టూల్ యూజ్ చేస్తాం. సో మ్యాథ్ పిక్ అనేది ఒక టూల్. దిస్ టూల్ ఈజ్ యువర్ యూజ్ ఇట్ టు కన్వర్ట్ యువర్ written equation into a LaTeX code. Written equation into a LaTeX code. So either PDF or image or your handwritten equation, anything is converted into a LaTeX code. This is another efficient online resource. So make use of this resource. You can convert. Okay. But the problem is per month, the conversion is only 100 snapshots. More than 100 is not working. Okay. Thank you. So any doubts, please ask.